Hello. Okay, so namaste. Welcome, everybody. And if any of you have been following me for a while, you know that sometimes I just feel compelled to share something. And for me, it feels special. And then sometimes I admit, I share it, I watch it again, and I say, okay, not a big deal. But, anyways, hello. So, lately I've been working on some of these mantras from the Shivananda chant book. And some of them, of course, I've known for many years, but I haven't really studied in depth. And I just have that desire today, for whatever reason, just to go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into the truth. And so it's just sort of a spontaneous sharing. We'll see how it goes. But basically, I mostly want to focus on this Purnamada Purnamidam, which is that is whole and this is whole. From the whole becomes manifest. From the whole, when the whole is negated, what remains is again the whole. So, this thought, this notion, this idea that, of course, this is already everything. This is already, as Byron Katie says, God is what is. God is this. And of course, for the mind, the separate self, for the seeker, it can feel incomplete, like it's not enough, like something is missing. And Tony Parsons would probably say that it feels like something is missing because of the contracted energy of the separate self, because there is a seeker who's looking for something, but it's already here. This is already nothing appearing as everything. This is already the absolute appearing as the relative. This is emptiness, fullness already. And I love how Richard Sylvester just says right at the beginning, look, there's no self. There's no self. And I think if you're a hardcore non-dualist, this is what you have to go towards and grasp right away, is the fact that there is no self. The brain is creating a sense of self. It's imagining a self. There is a sense of contracted energy. It feels like a separation between this and everything else. But the fact is that there isn't a self. There isn't a separate self. There isn't a self at all, as Adyashanti says. I know I'm in quote mode right now. I'm quoting everybody, but because it's been said so many times by so many people thousands of years ago, throughout time, and even now in this modern era. There's so many people who are waking up and so many people who are speaking this non-dual message. So, and of course there are no people, but anyways, it's not to be silly about language either, because you could say that the ego is very sneaky, it's very deceptive, the ego will always be pointing away from itself, going, oh, it's over there, it's this, it's that. The ego doesn't want to look back at itself because when it does, it realizes, oh, I don't exist. This ego is, it's a false self. So let us always come back. And that's why Ramana Maharshi's question, who am I, is so powerful. Or Nisargadatta's focus on the I am. Because as you focus on this I, and you look at it, it just crumbles, it disappears. And you come to see that no one is seeing, there is no one here. So, anyways, there's my first sort of bleh in 4 minutes. Let's just start with a little bit of music. For me, I love my harmonium, I love chanting, I love yoga, I love meditation, and all of these things, in a sense, contribute, I feel, to the awakening of what is. So I'll start with my usual invocation, and we'll just kind of see how it goes, go with the flow, maybe do a little meditation, a little bit of chanting. Definitely, though, we'll look at these mantras that usually are chanted at the end of a yoga practice. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Sachidananda Murtaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Jase. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchidananda Murtaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchidananda Murtaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase So, of course, that's an invocation to Shiva, the invisible God, the invisible free God who is always at peace, always calm. And that is all of us. Nameless, shapeless, formless, emptiness. Many of us are running from this emptiness, but it is our salvation in a sense. It is our true nature. Once you realize this emptiness, you see, this emptiness cannot be harmed. This emptiness does not need to be maintained. It does not need to be protected. It doesn't need anything. And that is why it's perfect. Perfect isn't really, how do you describe nothingness and emptiness? But it's perfect in the sense that it's everlasting, eternal, timeless beingness. And so the more we taste that, the more we discover that, the more we realize that, the more the separate self just melts into love. The mind sinks into the heart. Everything is seen as the beloved. Everything is seen as the divine, as God. And all becomes well again. It's well right now. But for some, we cannot see that because the mind is telling us so many things, giving us fears. And we believe the fears, we believe the stories of the mind, and therefore we suffer. So we are not saying not to necessarily not listen to the mind. Sometimes the mind is a helpful tool. We must have discernment. We must look at each thought, potentially, and ask, is this thought true? How do I know it's true, as Byron Katie says? How do I feel? How do I react when I believe this thought? Is this thought helping me or is it hindering me? Is it protecting me? Is it setting me free? Is it keeping me in bondage? And who is this me? Now, everything is part of this. So we jump back and forth, sometimes dealing with ourselves as a separate person, and sometimes seeing that there is no person. Ultimately, not the goal, but how it will be, probably, is that it will just be this nothingness. But life is intelligent, and life is creative, and life is wise and discerning. There's a famous story that's been told throughout the ages about basically a disciple asking a master, well, if everything is God, then when the elephant comes running at me, I don't have to get out of the way. And the master says, well, yes, the elephant is God, but if you don't get out of the way, that elephant will crush that body. And, everything's open, fair play, that can happen. But is that really what you want to have happen? It's not that we just walk around in some sort of stupor or daze and just, like, oh, whatever happens. It's not that kind of carelessness, There could be an aspect of that where you just literally just feel like everything is the divine, no matter what happens, pain or pleasure. No matter which one comes, you accept it. You see it as the perfect expression of oneness. That is a possibility. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. And within each moment, there may be a different, and there is a different reaction to the moment by life. It's life living life, life responding to life. And you can never know how life is going to respond to life. It's a mystery. It's unknown. It's unknowable. And the real is always the unexpected. We can never imagine 100% what's going to happen in the next moment. We can guess, we can speculate, we can do research, we can educate ourselves, we can make assumptions, but we never really know how this magical, beautiful, wonderful life is going to unfold and express itself. And of course, as awareness, we are just watching the movie unfold. We are not the doer because there is no we. There is no doer. Life is the doer. God is the doer. Consciousness is the doer. But again, the more we look at the doings of life, we see that they are mere appearances on the white screen of awareness. So silence is the default. There is nothing. There is silence. And then a noise, a sound emerges, and then it goes back into the silence. An action happens, and then it disappears into the silence. So everything, thoughts, feelings, words, sensations, life, movements of consciousness, movements in time and space, all of these things are simply appearing, expressing themselves, and disappearing. But what is eternal, what is timeless, what is always here is this silence, emptiness. This is silence sounding and stillness moving. And yet, nothing is happening. Even scientists will tell you this is all emptiness, dark matter, dark space. They keep labeling it something. It's just nothing. There is no one and no thing. And for the ego, this can, of course, sound very dismal and dark and, oh, there's nothing. Then why am I even bothering? Why do I bother? And this is what can happen. We can lose our personal motivation. Or maybe we become more motivated. We become more inspired. Sometimes by looking at death, by staring at it in the face, in a sense, life becomes more precious, more sacred, more wonderful, more beautiful. We realize how fleeting each moment is. And you can't stop life, of course. It's a train that's just going and going and going and going. Even the beginning of this video is gone. It's gone. Totally gone. That moment will never come back again. It's gone. And that's okay. It's just what it is. It's just what happens. So the more we see this process of birth, life, death, birth, life, death, appearing and disappearing, appearing and disappearing. And then we start to ask, what is watching this process? And it is, of course, awareness. This awareness doesn't come and go. Try to get rid of the awareness. Try to make it stop. It won't stop. It can't stop. It is timeless and eternal. This awareness, this beingness, this consciousness, this life, it is eternal, timeless being. It will always be here. The divine will always be here. It is beingness itself. It is the substratum for all creation. It is the unmanifest appearing as the manifest. Even in the Bible, it says something like, heaven and earth will come and go, but basically God will always be. Even heaven. People maybe don't hear that, but it's in the Bible. Even heaven will come and go. So what is this heaven that can come and go? What is aware of that heaven that can come and go? It is the formless awareness, the awake spirit. Are you awake right now? Nisargadatta says, everyone is conscious. If you ask somebody, how many fingers am I holding up? 3. They are conscious. But not everyone is aware of being conscious. Not everyone is aware of being aware. So awareness is our beginning, it's our middle, it's our end. As we return again and again to awareness and really investigate this awareness and investigate this notion of a separate self, everything becomes clear and evident and obvious. We start to see that which is real and that which is unreal, that which is always present and that which is coming and going. And everything just changes by itself. Transformations happen all by themselves. We effortlessly let go of that which no longer serves us any longer, that which no longer makes sense to believe. How long can you believe 2 + 2 is 5? So we start to see the truth, and just by seeing the truth, many falsehoods fall away all by themselves. Effortless, simple, easy. Don't work hard at this. It's just this. It's like screaming at you. The beloved is screaming at you with the most beautiful love. I am here. I am here. I have never left you. We have never been separate. We have always been one. We will always be one. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. So, let's sing a little Om Namah Shivaya. All of this is energy and sound and vibration. This message goes beyond the words and the concepts. The pointers can be helpful. They can help further understanding. But we always want to come back to the presence of what is, to the isness of what is. Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Shiva, 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 Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Shiva, 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 Shivaya. Om Namah 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 Shivaya. 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 Shivaya, Shivaya Namaha. So there is silence, and then chanting of Om Namah Shivaya, and then it disappears into the silence again. And here we are again with silence and emptiness. And this is your home. This is your home. This silence is not anti-noise. This is the silence which contains all sounds and noise. It welcomes everything. It is unconditional love. It allows everything to appear and disappear. This silence is freedom itself. You are freedom itself. We can look back throughout history and we can see some horrible things that have happened. But this awareness, this silence, has welcomed and allowed everything. It's not choosing, actually. It's not even selecting. It's not saying, this is good, this is bad, this I allow, this I won't allow. It just allows everything because there is nothing separate from it. It is everything. So it's watching everything. It is the expression of everything. It is everything. It is pure consciousness, pure life, pure divinity. And you are that. That is the message. You are that. So if that resonates with you, if you hear you are that, and that resonates with you, then that means, I would imagine, that your heart, like it tingles, it wakes up, that message, it rings true, and that it opens and it wants more of that truth. And so this is the best way to approach meditation or any spiritual practice is, of course, through the heart of love, the heart of devotion, just allowing every cell and fiber of your being to fall in love with what is true, and to be ready to accept the truth no matter what that is. Sometimes letting go of certain aspects of ourselves or our lifestyles, it can be painful. But if your devotion is to the truth, if it is the truth that you want, then you will let everything come and go and you will not be bothered ultimately by that. Because you will be so thrilled to be with the truth. The truth is your salvation and your liberation. It will set you free. And ultimately you see that everything that's coming and going has little or no value. Every experience, every amazing experience that you have is just an experience. It starts, while you're having it, it's amazing. But then it, of course, also returns to emptiness and silence. And then usually the mind holds on to that good experience for, could be the rest of its life, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. And it keeps going back into the past and it keeps remembering that pleasure that it had. Oh, I had this experience. It could be any kind of experience, a spiritual experience, a sexual experience, a food experience, a vacation, a job accomplishment. Could be whatever, because all there is, again, is pleasure and pain, pleasure and pain. And we love to hold on to the pleasant moments, and we try to push away the painful moments. Although for some people, they get trapped and sucked into the painful moments. Something happened to them 20, 30 years ago, and they're still chewing on it. They're still reliving it. It's like a car accident. The car accident, it's horrible, it's tragic, but it only happened once. And yet the mind continues to replay that incident over and over and over again. Maybe the mind even, if there's guilt, the mind will say, why wasn't I paying attention? And how did I get into this car accident? And I'm so bad, I'm so horrible, and I caused this destruction. And people live with this kind of guilt for 20, 30, 40 years, torturing themselves, basically, I'm so bad, I'm a sinner, I'm a sinner, I'm a sinner. We can attach to any thought process, pleasant or painful. And so what meditation provides is an opportunity to just say, do I want to continue to hold on to this pain or pleasure? Even pleasure can be an obstacle to the truth. This is not about bad or right and wrong. It's just about holding, attaching. Nisargadatta said, sometimes we have to let go of the good for the better. We have to let go of the good for the better. But a lot of people understandably don't want to let go of the good. Like, I just got the good. I was waiting for the good. I finally have the good. I don't want to let go of the good. Not yet. Not now. It's too good. But Nisargadatta is saying there's something even more. Not necessarily pleasant. This is not just about pain and pleasure. But there's something more, something deeper, something that will elicit even more joy, more bliss, more understanding. And so let's sing the Gate Gate Paragate, because really that's the message. What's going on with my phone? Sorry, I just looked up and this looks very strange. I wonder if it's still recording. It looks like it is. But there's all these wavy lines here. Okay. Maybe that's something to do with the vibration or frequency we're creating here. But so I don't have the music for this Gate Gate, but let's see if I can remember it here. Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswa something like that. Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswaha. So, beyond, totally beyond, just keep dissolving and letting go and investigating, and don't stop until you are stopped truly by the divine. Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswaha. 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 Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate
Sangate Bodhiswa Gate Gate Paragate Parasangate Bodhiswa Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
So just to clarify something, right before I started to sing, I was saying, don't stop, keep going deeper and deeper. And so language is always sort of limited. We have to explain, what do you mean? Of course, you had Papaji who would tell people, stop seeking, because there's nothing outside of yourself that you need to find. Everything is, you're already that. Everything is within you. Everything is you. So you can stop the mind. You can just tell the mind, not forcing it to stop. In a sense, it doesn't even matter what the mind is doing, but it's really to take the attention away from the mind, away from the seeking mind, and to reassure the heart to say, look, everything is already here. This awareness is always here. You don't have to look for it because it's here. You have to just notice it. Once you notice it, once you become aware of awareness, you will always be aware of awareness. So Muji likes to say that, awareness is unchanging. Awareness never changes. If you say, well, I see it changing, that presupposes that there's something prior to even that is watching something change. So the awareness is changeless. But, and if it were not, we wouldn't actually be able to see the changes that do happen. But the consciousness is always changing. So let's say you have your first sort of satori or awakening, you start to see these things. That's great, that's wonderful. So you start to see that awareness isn't changing, but your consciousness is going to continue to go through a transformation. And I don't think there's an end to that sort of transformation, because life continues, the expression of life continues. Even relationships and interactions and responses to life continue to happen. So there's no end to this sort of transformation. And really, if you look at humanity as just another aspect of yourself, well then, there is so much potential for transformation. There's so much potential for human beings to wake up, to go through transformations, to deepen to deepen their awareness, or to, we could say, increase their awareness, to allow their awareness to rise and to be even more inclusive and more expansive. So this doesn't stop. Just like the universe continues to expand and expand and expand, let your love expand and expand and expand. We start with ourselves because that's all we can do, really, is to look at ourselves, to look within, to examine our own lives, to look at our own thoughts and feelings and beliefs, and to examine our lives and to ask questions. Is this it? Am I happy with this life? Are there changes I can make? Do I know myself? Do I know God? Do I know the truth? And to answer these questions as best as we can. So these transformations, this process is ongoing. But then, of course, it must be coupled with the fact that awareness is changeless. We don't want to encourage the sense of seeker. I have to keep looking, I have to keep looking. I know throughout my own life and my own path that there have been moments where There was intense seeking and reading of books and going to teachers and doing this and that and the other. And of course, it wasn't needed, but on the relative level, yes, perhaps it was needed. Um, remember, everyone else, all of these books and these teachers are just different aspects of yourself. So we come into contact with these people. We do have experiences. That is life. Life is experiences. So again, I want to make sure that this message isn't anti anything. It's not anti life or anti experiences. No one's telling you to sit in a cave, although that's a possibility too. Everything's a possibility. Maybe you do feel drawn to sitting in a cave and just meditating on that silence. Maybe you do just find yourself in your bedroom meditating, being quiet, being by yourself. There is no right or wrong way to do this. There's just life and its trillion possibilities. So, the most important thing I would say is just be true to yourself. You can get advice from many people, and many people are happy to give you advice. I guess I'm giving you advice right now in a sense, but you know, don't just do something because you think you should, or because you're afraid, or because you just don't know, or be intelligent about this process. Really ask yourself, what do I want? What do I want? What do I want? In each moment, because in each moment you'll probably want something different. Sometimes I just want to go to the beach. I just want to go swimming. And sometimes I want to dive deep into meditation. Sometimes I just want to laugh with friends. And sometimes I want to sing kirtan for an hour. So every moment is its own moment. Every moment has its own meaning and purpose. And just be true to that. Respect that, acknowledge that, follow your heart, follow your intuition, be flexible with all of this. Allow yourself to just be lived by life. Again, for me, I don't see that there's really any need for, hardcore dogma or structure or even discipline. There's always a balance to be found, and we can find that, and we do find it in each moment. What does this moment feel like? What is the sense of this moment? Does it need a little bit more discipline? Does it need less discipline or more play, perhaps? So for myself, I'm always aware, as much as I can be, of the present moment, and I'm trying to find that balance. And yes, I'm playing with energy in a sense. I'm meeting people, and I'm sort of, I'm trying to find where they are alive, because that's the important thing for me, is where is the energy, where is the life, where is the truth of each human being, and to try to elicit more of that truth, because that's when life is so I'm live again. Okay. Sorry, I got a phone call there. So I guess it maybe broke up the transmission. But anyways, maybe it's good I got the phone call, because I didn't realize we're at 45 minutes. And I haven't even done the thing that I wanted to do, which was to look at these final